Yo, low key, it's better than the first one. Okay. I'm just kidding. But can we at least talk about it? All right, welcome to Tate's Take. If you're new here, I do spoiler-free movie and TV reviews. Give you a little background, basically let me know if I think it's worth checking out or not. If that's something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular Taste Takers, let's see if Coming to America is a worthy heir to the original. Get it? Like an heir? Like he's next in line? Ugh, never mind. Coming to America is a highly anticipated sequel to the cult classic Coming to America, but like without the two in it. The original film came out back in 1988, starring Eddie Murphy in what some people call his best movie. Those people haven't seen Shrek. In all seriousness, this movie came out at the height of Eddie Murphy's career. He had just finished working on Saturday Night Live, and he just made Trading Places and Beverly Hills Cop. Both of those are fire, in case you didn't know. Today, we all know and love the original Coming to America as a lot of people's favorite Eddie Murphy movie, and high key, a lot of people's favorite movie. But back then, the critics were super hating on it. The LA Times even called it a plentiful waste of time and money. Ugh, critics. What do they know? Huh? I'm a critic? Critics. Sometimes they know stuff. It didn't matter what all the press was saying because it went on to make over $350 million worldwide, becoming one of the highest grossing black films of all time. Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall wanted to make this movie entirely black, but Paramount Studios said they wouldn't make it if they didn't have at least one white person in it. And apparently Eddie Murphy only knew like 3 white people, and he said that Louis Anderson was the funniest one, so alas. Anyway, the money that Coming to America made had never been done before by a black romantic comedy, and it's never been done since. So what took the sequel so long? Well, to be honest, Eddie never even thought of making a sequel to Coming to America, but when the idea came around, he wanted to make sure that the script was right. The current script took 4 years for Eddie to be happy with it. He even brought in the original writers, Barry Blaustein and David Sheffield. He wanted to make sure that the movie had that original feel. Then he brought in Kenya Barris to add that modern touch. Kenya. Okay. It was directed by Craig Brewer, who got famous for doing Hustle and Flow, but he also did Dolomite Is My Name for the Eddie Murphy connection. Okay, random fun fact. Well, I don't know if it's fun. Y'all let me know. The original Coming to America was directed by John Landis. That's the same dude who did like Blues Brothers and Animal House and like Thriller. He directed Trading Places back in '83, so Eddie Murphy requested him to do this Coming to America movie. Anyway, long story long, these two end up beefing on the set of Coming to America because John was treating Eddie like he was whack. Come to find out, John was only treating Eddie like a jerk because he didn't come to his trial. What trial, you ask? Let's get into it. So John Landis was working on this Twilight Zone movie in LA in 1982. He's filming some like Vietnam War battle scene with helicopters and explosives. Somehow shit gets out of hand and the helicopter crashes into 3 of the actors and kills them. What's even crazier is that 2 of the actors were 6 and 7-year-old kids. And what's even crazier is that both of those kids didn't have permits to be working. What? So Eddie's telling Playboy this story a few years later about how he didn't know that that's why John was being a jerk to him on sets, because he didn't go to his trial. Eddie says, and again, Eddie says, not me, Eddie says, and I quote, I don't want to say who was guilty or who was innocent, but if you're directing a movie and 2 kids get their heads chopped off at 12, 2 kids get their heads chopped off at 12 o'clock at night when there ain't supposed to be no kids working, and you said action, then you have some sort of responsibility. Just say that. This is serious. Anyway, long story still long, Eddie ends up putting this guy John in a full headlock on set, like at work. And then he said John didn't mess with him anymore, so yeah, that happened. Let's talk about the sequel. All right, plot time. Coming to America picks up 30 years after Coming to America leaves off. The King of Zamunda, played again by James Earl Jones, is on his deathbed, and his son, Prince Akeem, is getting ready to take the throne. Only problem is, Prince Akeem is a girl dad. He has 3 daughters and no sons to become prince. His eldest daughter wants to rule, but of course the law states that only a man can do that. It's messed up. You see, Prince Akeem is not like his dad. He's not all cutthroat and savage as a ruler. And now, the rival country of Nextdoria, you know, because it's like next door to Zamunda, is threatening to stir up some trouble if the two countries don't unite by marriage. And Prince Akeem doesn't want that smoke, but luckily for him, kinda, he soon finds out that he has a son in America that he never knew about. So he has to go find this kid and bring him back to ensure the safety of the throne. It's kind of like Shrek the Third when Shrek doesn't want to be king, so he has to go and find Fiona's nephew who's played by freaking Justin Timberlake. Oh, y'all didn't see Shrek the Third? Anyway, Akeem and Semmi get on the first thing smoking to New York to try to find this long-lost kid, bring him back to Zamunda, turn him into a prince, and now we got a movie. So what's my take? You know, when I went into this movie, I said, there's no way you can top the first one. So let's just establish that. It's established. It's established? But just because it can't top the first one doesn't mean it has to be trash. Basically, I was like, if this movie is better than Bad Boys 3 was, it's a win. And I think it is. Let's talk about it, shall we? Okay, is this the best movie of all time? No. Obviously, that's Titanic. But is this the best black comedy of the last decade? No. Obviously, that's Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. But Coming to America does bring something to the table. The story is very predictable. There's some super cheesy lines. There's a couple boring moments that they definitely could have cut out. But at the end of the day, I'm not really mad at it. It's not easy to follow up such a big movie like Coming to America, especially 30 years later. But I did like how they got the original creators involved to try to make this happen. It's very impressive just how much of the original cast they were able to bring back. Obviously, you can't make this movie without Eddie and Arsenio, but seeing King Joffrey back, Lisa, Mr. McDowell, Oha, and some other like surprise returns, it's pretty impressive. And it's impressive that black don't crack, because Akeem and Lisa definitely didn't age all 30 of those years. High key, some of the weaker parts of the whole movie are from the new actors. I didn't love what Jermaine Fowler did as Prince Akeem's son. I didn't need Tiana Taylor, except to slay me with those outfits, and I definitely didn't need Rick Ross, but he let them film the whole thing at his house, so the least they could do was throw him a line. On the other hand, though, I thought Kiki Lane did a good job as Prince Akeem's eldest daughter. Leslie Jones was out there walking a very fine line between too ratchet and actually funny, and somehow it makes it work. Tracy Morgan is never not funny to me, and even Lunel got some good lines in here. But the surprise for me was seeing how good Wesley Snipes was. We're used to seeing him play such serious characters, but it was nice to see him let loose in another role outside of Dolomite Was My Name. Fun fact from the original movie, it was actually between Wesley Snipes and Eric LaSalle to play that creep Daryl. It's true. So it's a nice little full circle to get him back in this one. My personal favorite parts of the original movie were the barbershop scenes.
Just make it nice and neat. That'll be $8.
So they had to bring those back. In my opinion, they didn't miss a step. Still raw, still out of pocket, still funny. I just wish they didn't show so much of their scenes in the trailer, but it's still good. Another fun fact about this movie, there's a lot of fun facts in this movie. It's a fun movie. It must have been fun to make. Anyway, another fun fact about the movie is that Eddie was actually going to make the barbers wear MAGA hats, but not even because of Trump, but because they were Herman Cain supporters. Herman Cain, you may remember, is the guy that tweeted that COVID-19 is not that deadly, then proceeded to die from COVID. It's not. Wear your masks. Anyway, they decided not to use it because they would date the movie, which I agree, but, you know, Eddie's wild. That COVID really got Herman up out of here. Couple final thoughts I got here. The costumes, epic. This is the closest thing we got to Wakanda since 2018, so well done there. The makeup on all these special characters takes so much time, so much money to do, and it's impressive that Eddie and Arsenio could play all these characters. It's very underappreciated, but well done there. I also like how they touch on how different Queens is now than in the late 80s. I don't think they could have made this movie without a gentrification joke. And high key, I don't even think Prince Akeem could afford to live in Queens now anyway, so it's the rent. It's too damn high. If you didn't see the first Coming to America, the sequel does a good job of showing some throwback clips to help explain the story. But if you didn't see the first Coming to America, what are we doing here? Where were you? What have you been watching? It's on like every weekend. You got Comedy Central? Oh, nobody got cable no more? It's on Amazon now. Just, you should watch it. I'm gonna give Coming to America 3.5 stars. At the end of the day, black people don't get enough work in Hollywood as it is. So anytime we get the opportunity to make a feel-good movie that takes us out of the slavery or the civil rights and shows us as kings and queens, I applaud it. As popular as the first movie was, of course it faced some backlash from actual Africans because they thought it made them look crazy, like they had just elephants walking around their backyard. Some African people loved it, but the movie also faced some feminist backlash, basically because it portrays the women as objects most of the time. You can tell they made a conscious effort this time around to be much more progressive on how royal families treat women. If you're a diehard fan of the original movie and you understand that it can't be topped, but you can appreciate all the callbacks and repeat characters you see here, you'll enjoy it. If you can sit back and stop yourself from constantly comparing it to the first film, by the time you get to the end, I think you'll appreciate what they did with it. Sometimes, after a crazy-ass year, we don't need the most thought-provoking black movie of all time, but a reminder that we can relax, laugh, fellowship, and give out some well-deserved flowers to some of our black icons while we still can. Coming to America will launch exclusively on Amazon Prime starting on Friday, March 5th. As always, thanks for checking out Taste Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. In the comments, I gotta know your favorite Eddie Murphy movie. Eddie Murphy is my favorite comedian, and then there's Dave Chappelle, but I've been obsessed with this dude for a long time. I'm gonna have to go with Beverly Hills Cop, but this Coming to America is also great. But I'm gonna go with Beverly Hills Cop. Final answer. Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace.